This is Things You Might Not Have Heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and today I have 8 news stories for you from yesterday. Stories that you deemed as conversational, you deemed worth talking about. They cover topics from information, politics, current events, and pop culture news, and we're going to give them to you right down the middle. No, we're going to be pretty biased and go with our own thoughts and processes, but you guys told those stories were good enough, and we'll tell you how we got the stories that we thought were the best for the morning here. And it covered the DNC, day 2, of course, a little Shiloh Jolie, and the Winklevoss twins. Why are they? Because of their birthday. We're going to celebrate their birthday, plus more great things today. We'll explain the whole vetting process, what we got into today's program in just a bit, and the fun stuff, including birthdays and history lessons. That's coming up at the end, so stick around for the second show. I want to remind you that our whole shows, all of our stuff, all our content lives online at this. It's theconversationproject.com, our main website, our home online. Check us out for all the things you want to know about us and how about us and sometimes the who about us. There is some who about us as well. You can also email us when you get the moment, when you feel it, at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. But all comments, concerns, and complaints, we listen, we read them all. We do what we can with all we can. Today is Wednesday, August the 21st, 2024, and we have for you, as I said, 8 news stories in the queue for today. No particular order as they came down. In fact, the first story, we're just fudging and putting in there because it's the most important thing to talk about, and I have a bit of a gripe, a lot of a gripe going on. So let's get into DNC Day 2. Headline for story number 1, a double dose of Obama firepower, a doting spouse, and a dance party. Takeaways from DNC Day 2. This is coming from the AP write-up. We're going to just stick with their write-up every morning because it just works out. Now, the second day convention had a whole lot of great firepower, including President Barack Obama, the former, and former First Lady Michelle Obama, who both gave great speeches. Caveat, I listened to Michelle Obama's speeches. I have no idea what President Obama said because he didn't start until 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern Time, well past the primetime lineup. We'll complain about that in about 90 more seconds. But also last night, a lot of appearances, including Bernie Sanders. We had various just heart-wrenching speeches from various people out there. At least three nominate folks that were former Republicans, former Trump supporters who are now voting for Kamala Harris. One of them being Stephanie Griffin, one of the press secretaries that worked for Melania and for Donald Trump. And a whole lot of partying, including Little John turning up the Chicago arena for what? Helping the Georgia delegation throw their ballots for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. It was a party. It was fun. It was hard to. They put on a good show. They produced a great show. But again, they produced a very long show with a lot of speakers, a lot going on. While people eventually did sort of say, why did Biden didn't get started until 11:30 and was off prime time? People didn't get a chance today about Obama and Michelle Obama and Obama, because they just love the Obamas. Watching the morning news clips and the people kind of dissecting and going forward, it took a while for, I guess, the Republicans to wake up and come up on TV to actually start talking about what the Obamas said that they could, fight against on the Republican side. But essentially, it was just all a love fest for the Obamas. Michelle Obama came out and she did a bit of a swerve on her when they go low, we go high. Basically, we're going to fight. And President Obama did a little hand gesture joke about crowd sizes and compensation, things like that. But what we know is that we love the Obamas. The collective we still love the Obamas, and they missed them a lot. In fact, Van Jones almost cried in his commentary of Will's replay last night about how much he missed Obama, which reminds me how much I just don't like Van Jones. Not that I don't like Obama. I just don't like Van Jones. Also, Kamala Harris not in town tonight, but doing a rally in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, I believe. And after they did the the second ceremonial ballots, because they actually did a virtual balloting like last week to make sure that she was all cool. She came out on stage to begin her rally there in Milwaukee. Her and Tim Walz said a couple words to the folks back in Chicago, and then they went back to dance parties. It was a great night for what you could see, but as a person with a real job who for some reason wakes up at 3 a.m, spends 4 hours on these things here for the side hustle that isn't really hustling so much, I was tired. So I had the phone on and YouTube playing with C-SPAN and listened to whatever. I'll tell you exactly what happened. I was listening to Bernie Sanders and fell asleep towards the end of that one. I woke up as Michelle Obama was going and listened to her and then fell asleep towards the end, so I missed President Barack Obama. It happened. I'm seeing plenty of clips, which is how people get things anyway. So maybe it's for the best. But a bit of a gripe and complaint about how things are going. The Republicans found a way to keep things on time every single night, except, that last night. But here, the Democrats are having a big love fest. The love fest for Biden turned into a long slog that made him stay up past his bedtime. The love fest for essentially getting Kamala over the hump, getting her the ballots. And, of course, the first starting attacks, the first salvos against Donald Trump directly was great, except it went long and people missed the big stuff. We'll see how this thing plays out going forward, because 2 more days ago of this whole big old party. Let's get to some real news and real sad news, and actually, technically, really old news. Jennifer Lopez files for divorce from Ben Affleck. No prenup. That's coming in from the actual headline. No settlements, no prenup. They just signed the paperwork and they're done. Now, here's the thing. Their 2-year marriage, their second marriage in the 2 years here, we literally talked about, I think it was yesterday they got married 2 years ago. They filed for divorce. She filed for divorce. And the date on the divorce papers, April 26, 2024. So the rumors we had, the story said about the alleged divorce papers, they weren't alleged. They were real. And they've been out there for months. They're not quite divorced yet. It's not finalized, but they've been filed since April of this year. No prenup, because they're both kind of rich and they don't want to take anything from anybody else. No settlement reached right now, so that's why they're selling their own stuff and kind of moving on with their lives. Great development, great as in large development for high-profile couples. Second time around, I guess the fun stuff and commercials didn't quite work out what's going on. I guess just the life didn't work out. Whatever it was, and there are plenty of people talking about rumors, innuendo about essentially the personalities of the two, how things couldn't work for them the second time because the first time was a fluke. And the second time they thought they were just kind of getting back to, rekindle something and find some place that was missing from the two, and thought, hey, this is familiar. And familiar was not quite familiar enough for them. We're going to see how this thing plays out because they're not quite divorced yet. We're going to talk about this one for a while. We are talking J-Lo and Ben Affleck's divorce. We're backing away from other people's personal lives. I'm not sure why, just because we're petty, I guess. But this is one that a lot of people are putting ink on, putting pixels down on, so we're going to keep up with it as well. It's conversational. You want to talk about it. Here's a story that was interesting, and I'm glad it made it into the cut. It was a lower cut, but it's there. And this goes along the line with college football, because football is big, and the NILs, the name, image, and likeness deals, and how to get players paid in a fair way. We're going to Oklahoma State. The football helmets that they have this year will have a QR code in the back of them for fans to link to their NIL donation page. On the back of the helmets for the Cowboys of Oklahoma State for football, there's a QR code. And so if you can see it someplace, probably on TV, maybe they're walking by someplace and you can snap real quick if you're close to the field. The QR code goes to a donation page for the Cowboys themselves, the football team, and maybe all the players where it goes on there. The Pokes with a Purpose program, the NIL fundraising page, essentially allows you, like we have here for, you can go to our Buy Me a Coffee page and be a direct sponsor for the show, be a direct sponsor for the Cowboys, be a direct sponsor for Oklahoma State, the team there. You scan a QR code to give a donation, they get it split somehow, some way. I'm not sure how it's going to work because I'm not behind the deal. But this is a big initiative. As other teams and other players get all the money, I mean, the guys who are basically legacy players or people who are stars and people in big chances get a chance to sign up for big deals, big bonuses, and make more money now than they might on their rookie contract when they actually make it to the league. Some people are just languishing, not getting much, especially if you're not on a sport that makes any money. Football or basketball, maybe softball, baseball. Everybody else is doing it for the donations and hoping the boosters will pay for it. Here's a way for you to become a booster. I'm saying that sort of tongue-in-cheek. You're not actually becoming a booster, but you can contribute to a fund for this team here, and maybe it'll catch on. If it catches on there, I'm sure middle season, there'll be QR codes behind every helmet to make extra money for all the players. The players, not the football teams, because the teams, the coaches, the schools, they're getting paid. This is money for the players. Who's not getting paid? The stars of Star Wars, The Acolyte, because they done. Star Wars, The Acolyte canceled after one season. The Star Wars series, The Acolyte, has been officially canceled. One season down, no more to go. Lucasfilms has decided not to proceed with a second season. marking the series of standalone entries in the broader Star Wars universe not working so well. It's that simple. It comes right after basically the wrap up of the season. It's just basically maybe 2 months ago, bringing a very interesting storyline, a very interesting twist, and some of the, as we said earlier, some of the bigger pieces of the expanded universe that back in the day when there were just 3 movies and lots of novels, and then a couple of video games came out, and then some other things came out there. Now that there's a way to put real money into real action that is scripted by people and can be controlled by the continuity, it becomes an issue. Now, I would say the issue is probably Star Wars fatigue. I don't watch all the Star Wars things. I watch here or there, a bunch of them. I got into The Mandalorian late, and once I got into it, I had to keep up with it. I watched the Book of Boba Fett and was pretty disappointed because that wasn't the Boba Fett I grew up with. But hey, the times are changing, wokeness and all. And then I watched this one with just like I really wanted to like this, and was disappointed. Andor is getting a second season. That one I think is wrapping up filming right now. So that's more of the details of things that happened rolling up into the actual blowing up of the Death Star. There's some pre-work on that one. But we're going to see more things coming out. Now, some of the animated stuff like the Bad Batch, things like that, they're all canon. They all come to play with things. They all work into the Star Wars expanded universe. But in order to enjoy the big shows, in some cases, you have to kind of ignore little shows and let the little bits and pieces go along. There's a lot of lore coming through, and of course, some Easter eggs in this actual series. That some first time thing. Darth Plagueis first time being seen in any sort of action together, and a lot of things going through that make big Star Wars junkies really geeked out for it. But the biggest issue was for this one was it tinkered with some of the story. It sort of showed the arrogance of the Jedi, which apparently George Lucas was going to get to anyway, because they basically, shot themselves in the foot by ruining themselves. And I'm going to say these words out loud: Black Jedis. Something wrong with Black Jedis or Black Jedi Masters. Just something about that. That theme will return sooner or later. This is a person I do not know. So this is a person whose songs, whose music, and whose picture, I have no idea what's going on. But this article, links to this have been going on for days. We put it out there in yesterday's feeds, and it came up big time. So Chappelle Roan, hopefully that's how she says her name, slams abuse from and harassment from fans in TikTok video. Chappelle Roan, an up-and-coming music artist, has recently spoken out about her experiences with stalking, harassment, and abuse, which have significantly impacted her personal and professional life. She shared these experiences on TikTok, where she highlighted the seriousness of the issue and how it has affected her mental health. Roan's openness about her struggles has resonated with many fans, shedding light on the often overlooked challenges that public figures face. So, hydration break, because I don't know anything about this one, so we won't be cutting this one up for a news clip. But this is a big deal. This is actually a very serious deal that a lot of people, famous people, infamous people, people with a bit of stature that follow, are using social media. They're using it not just to bolster their fans and just kind of hype them up into a frenzy, but to complain and to tell folks, hey, people, I'm a people too, and I've got issues. So a lot of this craziness that goes along with this, a lot of people just thinking they need to be around me and be a part of this thing. I need space. I need time. I'm a performer. I'm doing what I can for you, and I love it. And I'm glad that I can make a living doing these things that are enjoyable and fun and make you have a good time. But there's a line. There are limits. Harassment is a thing, and let's not step past that limit. So congratulations for Ms. Roan for speaking out about this. Hopefully she'll get a bit of relief, and hopefully some other folks will get more relief from a bit of the extra activity, extracurriculars from some of the fans out there. We have to step to a very sad one. This one headline reads, UPS driver suffers from heat exhaustion, passed out, got into crash, Teamsters say. A UPS driver in Texas suffered from heat exhaustion and passed out while driving, which led to a crash. The driver lost consciousness behind the wheel, causing the vehicle to veer off the road and crash into trees. The The driver was hospitalized following the incident. And Teamsters Union has highlighted the event as part of the broader concerns about the risks faced by delivery drivers, especially during extreme heat and conditions like this. The great big UPS vans don't have air conditioning. They don't. That's why the drivers drive with the doors open. Because they don't have windows they have windows, not very good ones. They don't have AC blowing through them all the time. It's cost-cutting measure. But UPS is working on more trucks that do actually have these things. They just have to be sort of built that way and compact. The big ones don't work so great with that going forward. The conditions right now, and it's a weird thing right now, because if you're looking for folks in Chicago, in the north right now, northeast, they're seeing, early September weather. So it's not totally cool, but it's getting close to what fall turns into. Here in the south are very coolish August, which had temperatures in the 80s and low 90s. It's now back to heat indexes of 105, 110. And it's coming, it's like a vengeance. It's hitting us pretty hard. So right now, drivers in various places, especially in the deep south, are seeing stuff. People in those places seeing those type of things. Be careful about the heat. Heat is very dangerous. We fortunately have had fewer stories to post about kids and babies dying in hot cars. There have been some, but there have been fewer to post, which is a great thing. But stories like this will pop up going forward. We also had fewer stories to post about football players, passing out and dying in the heat as well. Glad about that as well. Let's hopefully keep those numbers low and get to a cooler time with a lot less casualties from the heat that is stifling us right now. Casualty of the crazy is Mike Lindell, who now has an ultimatum. Judge gives Mike Lindell ultimatum in $5 million prove me wrong case. From the Robot Editor, Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow and a prominent supporter of Donald Trump, has been given an ultimatum by a federal judge in a $5 million prove me wrong lawsuit. Case centers around Lindell's offer of $5 million to anybody out there. If you got proof, he'll give you $5 million if you can disprove the claims of election fraud. If you have proof that the election was actually up, if you can basically show that, hey, this election was good, he'll give you $5 million. So far, everyone has rolled with it except for a few people who are trying to use it to get elected. Donald Trump, of course, and Mike Lindell, who actually is not actually paying up any money for people who've showed him, you know what? Here's how it's not fraudulent. The judge has ordered Lindell to produce his financial records by Friday. That is 2 days from now as we record this, or appear in federal court. It comes as part of ongoing legal challenges Lindell faces related to his election fraud allegations and the fact that his business is also tanking. Not great days for Mike Lindell. He's still on the circuit. The picture we have here, the video is him at the RNC 3-4 weeks ago on the floor doing his thing. So he's still a prominent figure, prominent face. But the fact that no one can disprove that the election was not rigged, it's causing issues for a guy who says, I'll pay you $5 million to prove it. And people have tried to prove it. He's not paid out the cash. And a sort of theme for today, and it started out as I went through the stories, and I actually got myself hyped into it. So your earworm for the day is When It's Over by Sugar Ray, because there's a lot of things that were when it's over type things. And this is another story we are coming back to. We talked about the divorce of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, talking about that for a while as it's been sort of brewing. We had the story originally posted on Shiloh's birthday, 18th birthday on this one, and now it's official. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's daughter, Shiloh, granted name change, will go by Shiloh Jolie. So her full name, birth name, Shiloh Nevo Jolie Pitt, because hyphenated last name, should now just be Shiloh Jolie. I guess Nevo is just for when her parents are mad at her to yell the full name. But she'll no longer be legally Jolie Pitt. She is now legally Jolie. The daughter of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie has got granted the legal name change on her 18th birthday. Something you can do on your 18th birthday is you can change your name. You can put it to court, and most likely it will be changed. You can also change it when you get married. You can change it to whatever you want to. If your name is Jones and her name is Smith, you can change your name to Barnabas. You can do that because that's a time where you can it's just open and say, okay, what's your name? It's open to do that. The decision comes after a lot of hard thoughts and turmoil. This was not an easy decision for Miss Shiloh, the young Jolie, if you will. And it's not easy for her to go back and forth between her parents, the famous people, very beautiful people who created very beautiful kids, Although behind the scenes, we hear that the life with the parents may not be so great, especially with Brad Pitt, who doesn't seem to have very much actual contact with the older kids at all. And some of the younger kids' interactions, apparently, sometimes they're being played up as sort of forced. We're going to see what comes about from Miss Shiloh's life going forward. She's got plenty of ahead of her. Angelina and Brad, they'll keep making movies. They'll keep looking beautiful. Things will be fine for them. The biggest thing we're looking out for is the overall welfare of the kids. And Shiloh at 18 is ready to do her own thing. So we're going to let her do her thing and just be proud in it. Let's go to our teaser story for the day. This is the teaser section, the section where we tell you how stories get into the feeds, how stories get into the shows, and how your engagement is what it's all about. We tease a story we could talk about going forward. This is a headline that posted a few minutes or so before I started recording this morning, so it's out there. You may have to go search for it based on when you go looking for this when the video comes out to you. This is an interesting headline. I don't think it's going to make very much. It might make a low 15, so we'll get in there. But this is a history lesson that we might need to keep an eye on. A German court upholds the conviction of a former secretary at a Nazi concentration camp, age 99. A 99-year-old has problems, real problems, as she's been convicted of war crimes from 50, 60 odd years ago, from World War II. It's kind of hard to fathom, but it is what it is. And so something's going to happen with her in the conviction. Are they putting her in prison? Probably not. But this is a conviction that will not be overturned for this heinous crimes of being a secretary at a concentration camp. Did she actually kill anyone in the process? Probably not, but she essentially allowed it to happen, went along with it, and that is might as well be guilty for that one. We'll see what plays this one out, and we'll see we talk about this one, because if you want to talk about it, we'll talk more about it tomorrow, deeper into the article, and we'll give you updates to see if you want to talk about it later. But how do you do this? The feeds is how we do this. Our feeds are links on Facebook and X. That's what we call them, the feeds. X.com/th_conversation. Facebook.com/This is the Conversation Project. We post news articles every 50 minutes or so. It's like this one and other ones. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's kid, the breakup of Jennifer and Ben, Star Wars Acolyte. We cheated on the convention thing, we know, but we posted some things about what goings on, so we're making it work. It's top of the line. You guys are talking about it, trust me. So as stories get posted on those feeds, you engage in them. You like them, you love them, you hate them, you share them, you do what you can to put the right emoji face for you on them, because sometimes it's not about, I like the stories, I really hate this story so much I need to talk about it, or we need to get into it. Higher engagement score, the better chance we have of talking about it in the next iteration. We look at the scores from the top for Tuesday through Friday, top 15 of 30-ish stories in the day. For Monday, it's top 30 of 90 stories of the day, of the weekend. And we go to 10 on Monday and 8 for Tuesday through Friday. So tomorrow, another 8 stories that will be presented for you for this route. Go to your feeds, follow us along with that, and see what's going on. That's the most important thing you can do, is follow us in the feeds. Let us know what stories to talk about tomorrow. Something else that's important for you as college football season coming in there is get your game on and get your games anywhere you want to with YouTube TV, and get your game on with less money out of your pocket, because it stays in your pocket, because you're going to get $45 off YouTube TV, $15 off by using our affiliate link, plus the standard $10 off for the first 3 months, $45 off because of me. You're welcome. Go to our link for this money off your bill for 3 months. This is conversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This is conversationproject.com/YouTube TV. YouTube TV is one of the best streamers out there, and I say that because I'm using it, so I'm biased. But it has 100 plus live channels that you can DVR with your own personal DVR, 6 of them for the family, and more sports, more drama, more movies, more connections directly through this app without separate apps to see all you can see. And they are the actual owners of the Sunday Ticket. So if you want to get Sunday Ticket, it's actually through YouTube TV. So go ahead and just go to the mother, go get it taken care of. It's time to cut the cord, or it's time to swap off from that other streaming service that doesn't quite give you well. This one gives you very well. YouTube TV will take care of you, and you can get a great deal on it on us. the Conversation Project's website. This is conversationproject.com/YouTube TV, or just click on the sponsors page. It's there as well, and click on other sponsors to take good care of you. It's a small, very small affiliate commission we get for this one. Plus, we're giving an extra $15 off what you're getting, so you cannot knock this deal. You can knock the Conversation Project, but apparently we keep getting back up because we're resilient or we just don't know any better. The Conversation Project lives online at this is theconversationproject.com. Check us out for all the details on who we are, what we are, why we are, and the wheres. We have various things in various places. You may be following us, getting our content in one area, or you may have stumbled across us. Find out the place that's best for you: Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever the best place is for you, and how the forms that come out there are there as well. In audio forms, we have the download of this thing in the audio version that comes to your podcatcher every morning. We have an email newsletter that's just the links that straight to you as well. Check those out as the best way to get them. We really need you on our email newsletter because that's the best way to contact you in case we lose the YouTube. We've talked for all week about trying to get those extra views. We're slowly getting up there. We're 5 days behind, so it looks like we're still under 40 hours or so to getting that thing. We'll see how that works out. But we're trying to hit that 3,000 watch hours so we can see if they'll give us our magic monetization invite. These channels had issues in the past with other projects, so we're going to see what happens. So we're channels attached to my account, I should say. So we'll see what happens with that one. But we need you to be a part of the family. We need you to also consider being a partner. We talked about the QR codes for the Cowboys earlier before, not them Cowboys, some other Cowboys. And we work on donations as well. We work on our own name, image, and likeness via the Buy Me Coffee platform and their individual donations as well. Check out the partnerships page if you want to be a partner and help donate that way, or just check out our sponsors and buy something from them. We get a commission from every single thing you buy out there. Make sure you're following us on the feeds and telling us what stories to talk about, because that's the most important thing. We need you to follow us on the feeds and talk to us about the stories you want us to talk about so we can choose those and talk about. And email me if we're not picking the stories that you want to see, because chances are, like we say, we pull from a range of stories and just pick the ones that sort of fit a narrative of the day, a themish of the day. And it may be your story was number 9 in the list. It was like right there and got clipped. Let me know. And if enough people respond to those stories, when I post stories like that, I'll make sure it is in the queue. We've done the business. We got you news. Let's talk about some fun stuff and talk about these guys. These guys, the Winklevoss twins. Today is Wednesday, August 21st, 2024, and these are things you might ought to know for this day. And we kick it off with birthdays, always. Birthday wishes, 43 years old of days for the two, being Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss. Now, unless you're a VC guy and you're into venture capital and all sorts of sort of investments, Silicon Valley stuff, the only reason why you know these guys is because they were portrayed by one dude. He was twinned in the movie using technology in the movie about Facebook, the sort of semi-autobiographical, sort of biopic thing on Facebook, as sort of just kind of weird dudes who were always wearing wrestling headgear, and one of the early backers of Facebook. That's basically the only reason why Cameron and Tyler are even worth mentioning at all, because that's there. They helped fund the original back of the Facebook, I guess, going forward, and got cut of the deal, which made it interesting. And the character played by Justin Timberlake is the bad guy, I think. I'm not sure. They're 43 years old today. Kelis is 45, so get your milkshakes on today for today. And Usain Bolt, who it's got a lot of celebration right now because we just got out of Olympic season. He's no longer the fastest man in the world, has now been overtaken back by an American, USA. But Usain Bolt, who also has USA in his name, is only 38 years old on the day. Wrong direction. That direction. History lesson for today. Let's start off in 1858. Let's go back a bit. Today, the first of 7 debates between U.S. Senator and U.S. Senate candidates Abraham Lincoln. He was in the Senate at the time. This is all bad. Okay. The Lincoln-Douglas debates. Senate candidates Abraham Lincoln and Stephen A. Douglas were rolling on trains, stopping in places, doing debates, getting back on the train, and rolling back into some POC there. Back in the day, back in 1858, we didn't have YouTube TV, didn't have satellite cable or streaming stuff. We didn't have TV. You had to be there, and the paper had to write things up and kind of give you what was going on. And so they just rode a train. Lincoln and Douglas had separate cars and a train. They rode to a station. Today, the first one in Ottawa, Illinois, as they were running for the candidacy for the Senate. And their first debate was today. This was a staple of debating back in the day, and something that historians talk about all the time, and how people actually handle these communication routes to debates. I think it's really interesting. It's something that always picks my mind, so we go back to this one every single year. On this day in 1912, author Eldred became the first Eagle Scout, earning the 10 badges for his choice and 11 specific badges on the way. So congratulations on this one. And in 1959, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the executive order proclaiming Hawaii the 50th state of the Union. Happy birthday, Hawaii, officially a state today. Our word for the day is multitude. You can learn more about more words like this at the Big Words Project, bigwordsproject.com, and get our latest iteration of Big Words You Ought to Know at the bigwordsproject.com, or just search for it on Amazon. But today's word is multitude. A multitude is a large, indefinite number, and used in a sentence, the library was home to a multitude of books, offering endless knowledge and adventure to those who sought it. That is your word for the day. That's a word you can probably easily use in your day-to-day, multitude. Let's go to our affirmation for today. I am focused, persistent, and will never give up. This enhances your skills. So how does that work? By affirming your focus and persistence, you can lead to significant improvements to your abilities. A dedicated mindset encourages continuous learning and skill enhancement, making you more adept in your personal and professional endeavors. That's one way that saying I am focused, persistent, and will never give up will help you just essentially know you need to keep on working, keep on doing, keep on learning, and getting better going forward. Wrapping up with today's celebration, we're going to keep it on a food-ish thing and keep it sweet, specifically with Sweet Tea Day. Iced tea is the second most popular beverage in the world, following water. The oldest tea remains date to around 153 BC. Archaeologists from the Shandong University and the University of Science and Technology found about 2,400-year-old tea remains in a royal tomb in the Shandong province. Tea is that old. Today we're celebrating the sweet stuff, sweet tea. And I probably shouldn't let the robot editor rewrite this one, because the original script had more about sweet tea itself. But sweet tea is the way it's drunk down here, and the way it should be. You take a little tea, brew it with the sugar, because you add it afterwards. It's not sweet tea. It's just tea with crystals floating in it. And we go up north and they ask you, you know, for sweet tea, and they point to the packs of sugar. You know you're in the wrong restaurant. Go someplace where they actually know how to make sweet tea. And if it has to be McDonald's, hey, go to McDonald's. They have a recipe. It's Southern sweet tea. It works. Sweet Tea Day for the day. Also, Brazilian Blowout Day and Poets Day. We picked two. That's what was there. Today, 21st of August, Wednesday, 21st of August, 2024. Thank you so much for being a part of the family and to be on the show for the day. The shows, if you will, things you might not have heard and things you might ought to know for today. Follow us on our feed so we know what things to put in the first show, the stories that you say are conversational. We have a listing service that gives us the new stuff for the second show. And if you like certain people, or if there's a certain birthday you know is coming up, go ahead and send it to me and we will highlight that one, because we'll take requests. Why not? We request that you follow us on our feeds. We did that already. We request that you email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com to let us know what stories to talk about. We ask, we're not going to request, we ask you to take a look at our partnerships page and consider being a partner. Consider that. But we also want to remind you that life is great. Life is awesome. Life is beautiful, even when your life isn't going so great right now. So keep that in mind as an affirmation as well, because some days it's harder to keep that in mind than others. But when you keep it there, it is there. 2 down, 2 to go. More of the Walz-Harris phenomena, as Kamala Harris is 2 more days away from doing her speech. Tim Walz will give his speech tonight at the convention in Chicago. And we'll see what happens when they really go head-to-head, that being the Harris and the Trumps, to see who will be our next president, who will actually take in the mantle of 47. Will it be 45 taking a 45, 47 with a comma, or will it be Kamala taking on the 47 mantle? We'll see that coming up. Less than 80 days, I think. I think it's 78 days, something like that. In the meantime, Love you guys. Mean it so much. We're going to have a great Thursday, great Wednesday first, and calling for a great Thursday. We'll see you again for another edition of this thing here, out on that thing there, the internet's on the tomorrow.